All right, let's start just by coming into a comfortable seat. We'll get ourselves grounded. Just start by stacking the spine, getting the shoulders floating over the hips and the crown of the head, reaching towards the sky. As you feel yourself lengthen from the crown of the head, you'll naturally feel the belly pull up and in, supporting the low back and keeping you upright. And just notice your breath. You can close your eyes here if that's comfortable for you. No need to shape or form the breath in any way just yet. Just check in with yourself and notice. And now begin to deepen the breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose, puffing out the belly to fill the total torso, the entire chest cavity with air. And exhaling out the mouth. Inhale deeply through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. And last one, big inhale. And exhale. Let's bring hands to heart center, set an intention for our practice today. Perhaps loving kindness for ourselves and others. All right, and blink the eyes open. Let's begin. I'd like to start in forward fold, caterpillar shape this morning. So I'm going to turn sideways and sit my hips up on a blanket. And I'm going to use my bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can use a foam roller. You can use a rolled up yoga mat. You can use a pillow. Just something to give your knees a little bit of a lift. Sit my hips up as well. All right. Good morning, Carol. And with feet about hip width apart, we're going to start by lengthening the spine, and then we're simply going to fold over. So this is a nice, easy way to start to open the back of the body. I'm going to stay here for about 4 minutes and get my timer going. And while you're here, I want you to just feel yourself grounding. Feel yourself really connecting to the earth energy and connecting with your true self. Breathing in and out deeply and slowly. You can just let the head and neck relax. Your arms can be resting on the bolster or pillow, keeping the shoulders rounded, head and neck softly draping over the torso. Let's just see how much we can soften here. With each breath, with each exhale, see if you can soften and deepen and relax. Part of our yin practice is paying attention to the mind and how it tries to distract us and bring us into unawareness, out of the present moment. So this our yin practice is our time to be fully present. And enjoy the sensation of being in our body. About a minute left here. Make any little adjustments that might feel good. You can change the position of your arms a little bit. Maybe fold a little deeper. And when you notice the mind wandering, don't criticize or chastise yourself. Just bring it back to the breath. Alright, so we'll very slowly, taking your hands to the floor, use your hands and arms to bring your torso back up. And then we'll slide the bolster out. And set that to the side for now. And let's just make our way onto all fours. We'll take a few cat-cows here just to reset the spine. If you want, you can place your knees on a blanket. Knees below your hips, ankles right below your shoulders, fingers spread wide. Starting in a nice flat tabletop position with the crown of the head and the tailbone in alignment. And then as we inhale, we'll lift the tailbone, lift the chest, lift the gaze to the horizon. Inhale, full belly breath. And as we exhale, start to tip the tailbone down and under, around the low back, the mid back, the shoulders. Drop the chin to the chest, crown of the head toward the floor, and press the mat away. Feel the shoulders widen. Exhaling out. Now inhale, lift the chest, lift the tailbone. I like to slide my toes to the mat and lift my heels here. And then exhale, bring everything down, tops of the feet to the mat, tailbone tucks under, round the spine. Press the mat away and chin to chest. Now just take some gentle intuitive movement here. Maybe twist side to side, look over your shoulders. Just get a little bit more into your body, feeling the sensation. And we're going to set up for thread the needle, do a little shoulder work. For thread the needle, I like to have my blanket up where my head is going to be, so that my head is on a nice soft surface, and it's a little bit elevated, so it makes a little more room for the shoulders. So we're going to stay in our tabletop position, knees under shoulders, that would be good. Knees under your hips. And we'll start with the left side first. So we're going to start by sweeping the left arm out to the side, taking a little twist here, inhaling, And as you exhale, sweep the arm across the front of the body and through. We'll take a couple of these just to ease into it, warming up. Reach the fingertips away. Inhale, slide the arm back across the front of the body and reach it skyward, opening up the chest into a twist. And exhale, float the arm down, cross the front of the body, sweep it through. Exhale. Now inhale, last time. Inhale here, reach a little higher. Exhale, sweep it across. Now this time we're going to bring the left shoulder down to the mat. I'm going to bring the head down as well. So here's where I like to use my blanket. Placing the side of the head on the blanket. This way my shoulder's a little bit elevated, so I'm not putting the full weight of my body on that joint. Now here you have a choice with your arm position. You can slide your right hand behind your low back, if that feels good. It gives you a external rotation in the right shoulder. You can leave your fingertips tented on the floor, right next to your face, or you can reach your arm overhead. Reach your right arm overhead. That one is what feels good for me today, so I'm going to stay here. And we'll settle in here. We'll be here for about 3 minutes. Just find yourself settling in. Notice all the points where your body meets the floor or the mat. And take that body scan and notice if you're gripping anywhere that you don't need to be. If you find you're tensing somewhere, if your jaw is tight or your face is knotted up, just bring the breath there, and as you exhale, soften and release. So for me, a lot of times my yin practice is like, it's kind of like when you get a massage, you don't really know what's going on in there until somebody starts poking around. So in this yin practice, when we're getting into our poses and then holding here, it really gives me a time to take inventory. Soften the belly. And there's something that's so counterintuitive to our culture about this practice. It's mostly non-doing, undoing. And we're so used to being active and doing all the time. It can be a little challenging. So if you notice that about yourself, just be curious. Take about another minute here. Soften a little bit more. Breathe a little more deeply. You might feel some of those shoulder knots starting to melt away. And slowly let's start to come back to tabletop. So initiating by wherever your right hand is, bringing it back to the front of your face on the floor, and then pressing down into the right hand. Slide the left hand out from under. And we'll take that arm wide. Take a couple of rotations with that left arm extended. And then bring that left hand back down. Let's take a brief child's pose here just to check in. Sink the hips back, reach the arms forward, and bring the forehead down to the mat. We won't be here very long. This is just a reset. So you can feel the difference between the left and the right shoulder now. Alright, let's come back up. I'm going to turn myself to the other side. You can stay right where you are. Just want you to be able to see me, not the back side of me. And so setting up for thread the needle on this side. Wrists below the shoulders. Knees below the hips. So with the right arm this time, we're going to sweep it out and up. Inhaling and exhale, cross the front of the body, reach the fingertips through. Inhale, sweep the arm wide. Exhale, bring it down, across and through. And last one, big inhale, reach to the sky. As you exhale, bring the arm down, across, and place the back of the hand on the floor. Slide the right arm forward until your shoulder comes down to the floor. And I'm going to place my head on my blanket, keeping the hips elevated. And again, you can keep your hand right here. You can wrap it behind your low back, or extend it overhead. And again, we'll be here for about 3.5, 4 minutes. So make sure your head and neck are comfortable. Reposition yourself if you need to. So as I did that, as I moved my head, I noticed that my shoulder was not as comfortable. I think I had my head twisted in a little bit. So as I moved my head out, then my shoulder opened up. So I'm going to move it to behind my low back. And on this side, that feels better. So always trying to be aware of what your body needs in this moment. It's not about the perfect pose. There is no perfect pose. The perfect pose is the one that's perfect for your body. And your body in this moment, which is different than the moment before and the moment to come. You can close the eyes and take your awareness to the breath. And so just as our physical asana practice brings us into more awareness about our bodies, that awareness of our bodies also allows us
to notice as we increase our capacity for breath and movement and flexibility. But we also have the ability to increase our capacity for loving kindness and for joy and for hopefulness. I sometimes get stuck in we're wired to think negatively. I mean, it's just, that's our survival reptilian brain telling us always on alert, trying to keep us safe. And knowing that and being aware of it allows us to kind of change the channel. So when I find myself worrying or tensed up about something, I have a choice. I can decide to let that go, at least for the moment, and increase my capacity for a different feeling. So just a couple more breaths here. Wherever your left hand is, bring it down to the side of your face and press down to come back up to tabletop. Slide the arm out and bring it out to the side and just take some rotation. So rotating your palm towards the ceiling and then towards the floor. Just getting some movement in that shoulder that's been sitting in that one position for a bit. And then again, we'll take a child's pose for reset. So I like to bring my knees wide to the mat, big toes to touch, and forehead to the mat, arms reaching forward. Good. Let's slide onto our bellies for Sphinx. I'm going to move my blanket to the top. So I've got a nice soft place for my forearms, which are going to go in front of me so that my shoulders are right over my elbows to begin with, and hips kind of nestling down into the floor. You can rock the hips side to side till you feel settled in here. So arms are shoulder width or maybe a little bit wider apart. Here's a good place for a block, for a headrest. So putting it on the tall way, you can rest your forehead here. Just let everything relax. Let the glutes relax, especially. We have a tendency to keep gripping there. So take a deep breath in. As you exhale it out, release the low back and the buttocks and the thighs. And continue to let the breath wash through you, taking any tension with the exhale, taking it out of the body with the exhale. I'll be here for a few more minutes. I'm just going to turn my fan down a little bit. There we go.
Notice where your shoulders are. Try to slide the shoulder blades down the back. If you don't have a block, keep your gaze at the horizon so that the neck is nice and neutral. So here we're creating that compression in the low back, lubricating the joints, all those little joints of the vertebrae, those little spaces in between. You can rock the hips side to side again, just loosening things up a little bit more. Coming back to stillness. And if you'd like to take it deeper, bring your hands out to a diagonal so your hands are at the top corners of the mat, and start to straighten the arms. You'll deepen that compression in the low back. If you have any back issues, this is not recommended. And in fact, if being up on your elbows is too much, you can slide your arms forward a little bit, and that will lower you down and decrease the amount of pressure on the low back. So here in Seal, we have to take a little more effort to keep the body up. But again, try to disengage any parts of the body that don't need to be working here. And if you're in Seal, bring your elbows back under your shoulders. Remove your block and bring your forearms parallel. Parallel to the top of the mat. Place your hands one on top of the other. And just bring your forehead down. Make a little pillow for your head. Relax the shoulders. And take some deep breaths into the belly. And when you're ready, let's press back up and make our way up to a seated position. For seated positions, I always have my blanket folded so that my hips are a little bit elevated. So, upper body's nice and loose now, so let's take some time with the lower body, coming into Janu Shirshasana. Let's take the right leg wide. Sometimes we do this with the leg straight. Today we're going to do the right leg open. So you don't need to have this leg as far out as it'll go. We want to just find that place where we feel some sensation, but we're not at our max. And you can have, again, blocks handy here if you want for your forehead. I find it easier just to let my head and neck relax in this particular shape. So we're going to turn the torso toward the thigh. So our torso is rotating a little bit. And then we're simply going to fold forward. So again, I know a lot of you can reach your foot and you could stay there and stretch. And we really want to be at about 80% of our capacity here. The idea is to Find that initial place of resistance, that first point, and just stay there, and it will naturally, the body will naturally allow you to go deeper. So in this shape, you can really feel as you exhale, that gravity and the weight of the body really draw you naturally deeper into the pose. If your knee is tweaky with it bent, just slide your foot down the inside of your leg until the angle is comfortable for your knee. Notice if you're clenching your jaw, you can open and close the mouth. Wiggle the jaw side to side. Get it to release. So folding forward, we're getting a little bit of traction in the low back. We're getting an opening in the left hip and the right. We're also compressing the knee joint, so we've got some fluid generation there. So compressing a joint makes the joint release that synovial fluid. And just try to relax here a little bit deeper. I'll be here about another 30 seconds. And placing your hands on either side of the extended leg, gently press yourself up. And we'll take both feet to the mat or in front of you, knees wide, hands come behind you, and we'll just drop the knees side to side, windshield wiper. Resetting the hips. Feels good. And then come back to stillness. The left leg extended, right foot somewhere along the axis of the inside of this leg. Again, depending on how your knee is feeling today. If this knee is up high and that's uncomfortable, you feel like you have to hold it, you can slide a block or a pillow or a blanket under there. And you'll notice as we stay in the pose that hip might open a little bit. This hip is tight, so I'm going to start with the block there. And again, we're going to turn the torso toward the extended leg. You can just let the foot relax. So in our vinyasa practice, we're always keeping the foot flexed. Here we're just relaxing, and we're going to hinge forward from the hips. Just a gentle fold. So you can see on this side, I'm quite a bit tighter in that hip, which is keeping me from folding too deeply, which is just where I am today.
So just allow yourself, allow your body to have the experience it's having today without judging, without wishing it were different. It's so hard learning to accept conditions as they are. I'm always wanting to change things to suit me. Which actually requires quite a bit of effort. So the more I can let go of thinking things have to be a particular way, the more ease and spaciousness I have in my body and in my mind. And allowing others to have their own experience as well. Nobody else needs to meet my expectations. So feel the exhale and gravity drawing you deeper into the shape. About another minute here, so settle in. Stay with the breath. Last few breaths, see if you can sink a little deeper, soften a little more. And if your eyes are closed, blink them open. Place your hands either side of the extended leg and roll yourself back up. Once the torso's back up, bring your hands behind you. Bring the feet to the floor wide, knees wide apart, and rock side to side. So I like to come down off my blanket for this. Alright, settling back in. Let's take the hips up on the blanket, soles of the feet together. And we'll take our Baddha Konasana forward fold. So here is also a good place for blocks. If your hips are tight and your knees are up in the air, you can actually slide the blocks underneath the thighs. And we want a nice big diamond shape. So this is not
we're not trying to get the feet as close into the groin as we can. We want them pretty far away from the body, so we have a nice open shape, and we're working on opening the hips here. I like to slide my hands under my shins as I come forward, and then just let the head and neck relax. Again, if you have another block, you can use that. Make a block tower for your forehead. So find the shape that works for your body today. Drag the shoulder blades down the back. So we always want to be aware of having as much space between the shoulder, top of the shoulder, and the bottom of the ear as we can. Keep that neck from scrunching up. This is a good place for deep belly breathing, so you can just let the belly be soft and open. And notice as you breathe into the belly, the hips expand, the low back expands, the rib cage expands, and then on the exhale, everything contracts in. So finding a nice rhythm for your breath that feels soothing to you. If your mind is very active, I find it's helpful to count. Pick a number that you like to count to. 8 is my number for some reason. And I'll just take my inhale to the count of 8. And exhale to the count of 8. Again, notice your jaw. Notice your forehead. So as I've been in this shape for a little bit, I'm able to fold a little deeper. Can move the blocks out of the way. And actually they can come out from under the thighs as well. Take about another minute here. And start to bring your palms down to the floor and
Slowly make your way back up. You can use your hands to gently bring your knees back together. Bring the legs out long in front of you. And we'll just point and flex the feet. I'm going to slide off my blanket and just roll the hips side to side. All right. So maybe take some barrel rolls with the torso. Rolling over the hips. And let's make our way onto our backs. I like to do a heart opener. So you have your choice. You can either roll up your blanket and use it to lay down the center of your spine. So if you do that, you make a little bedroll out of your blanket and put it down the center of the mat. And you're going to place your hips right up against it and then drape your spine over. I'm going to use my blocks today. So I'm going to take my soft blocks and put one between my shoulders and one on the tall way underneath my head. So for this pose, yogi's choice, feet, soles of the feet together again for Baddha Konasana, which will give you a nice hip opener. Arms out by your side. So play with the arm position a little bit to find what feels good for your shoulders. They might be wide. They might be a little closer to the body. I don't know, for me today, feeling like shoulder height, a little bit lower than shoulder height feels good. And my hips are tight, so I'm going to keep my feet together. You can slide your legs long if that feels better today. Actually, that feels better. And close the eyes and just settle into your body here. So we've got a gentle opening across the front of the chest and the shoulders, either on your blanket, on your rolled up blanket, or in your heart bench. Let the belly be soft. Let the head and neck relax. And while we're here, perhaps go back to your intention for today. And remembering our practice allows us to be more compassionate with ourselves, more understanding of ourselves and others. So I'm going to bring my arms up over my head and grab my opposite elbows and just let my shoulders fall back open a little bit more.
You can try that, or you can just reach the arms long overhead. Staying with the breath. And bringing my arms back down. Just find whatever works for your shoulders today. Take about another 30 seconds here, so about 5 or 6 deep breaths. And as you're ready, whatever position your legs are in, bring your feet to the floor. And to come off of this, we're going to drop our knees over to one side and gently roll over and off the blocks or the blanket. And then press our way back up. Moving the props out of the way. We'll come all the way down onto our backs. And just take a figure 4 here for just a few breaths. Crossing the right, let's start on the left side, the left ankle on the right thigh. So our reclined pigeon or figure 4, just to reset the hips a little. Opening up the right side for a few breaths. And uncross that ankle, bring the left foot down to the mat, bring your right ankle on top of your left thigh, press that right knee open. And then let's bring both feet flat to the floor again. Roll the knees over to one side. And we'll press up to seated. So we'll take a few minutes for meditation today before we go into Shavasana. If you want to do your meditation on your back, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to come to seated. I'm going to take a sip of water. And finding a comfortable way to sit so that the spine is nice and straight. Well, so that it's actually in its natural S-curve. We don't want it to be board straight. And we'll take 3 minutes, and then I'll move you into Shavasana. So, or if you're doing your meditation on your back, you can just stay there. So, eyes closed, hands in a comfortable resting position. And we begin. So meditation time is a good place to just rest your mind on the breath. Again, if your mind is particularly busy, you can give it something to do by counting. And make your way to your Shavasana into total relaxation. You can close your eyes, nestle your body in, maybe cover up with a blanket. And here's where we integrate our practice. Letting everything soften. In this moment, nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just relax. My reading for today is from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Today there is no longer a choice between violence and nonviolence. It is either nonviolence or non-existence. I feel that we've got to look at this total thing anew and recognize that we must live together. That the whole world now, it is one, not only geographically, but it has to become one in terms of brotherly concern.
Whether we live in America or Asia or Africa, we are all tied in a single garment of destiny. And whatever affects one directly affects one indirectly. And start to come back into your body, deepening the breath. Allowing fingers and toes to move gently, softly moving ankles and wrists, moving the head side to side gently. You might take your arms overhead. Make sure you're not going to knock anything over, and long, long legs, and stretch like a cat in the sunshine. And then curl yourself up into a little ball. Hug your knees into your chest. Maybe rock side to side. And then finding your way back to a comfortable seat. We'll all bring hands to heart center, remembering our intention for today. Thank you, ladies, for practicing with me today. Thank you so much. As you go throughout your day today, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, and peace in your heart. Thumbs to third eye, we bow to one another as we say, Namaste. And bow to your fellow yogis. Always a pleasure to start my Saturday with you, ladies. Thank you. Have a lovely day. Enjoy. Be kind to yourself and others.